In times of national crisis, governments mobilize trillions of pesos overnight, intended to stabilize the economy and protect the public. But we often see a strange disconnect. Historic levels of spending go out, yet the emergency rooms remain crowded and the infrastructure continues to crumble. The money is deployed, but the safety net never actually materializes. Economists explain this through the corruption-adjusted multiplier. It tracks how much actual economic activity is generated by a single peso of government spending. When funds are diverted through overpricing or substandard work, the multiplier drops. Instead of stimulating growth, the spending leaks out of the system. Every peso diverted reduces the social return, leaving the public with a fraction of the value they were promised. The scale of this leakage is massive. Every year, hundreds of billions of pesos move through these systems, not toward public infrastructure, but into private hands. The breakdown in governance acts as a bottleneck, redirecting resources away from human capital, even when the funding is available. This is the primary constraint on national development. We see the effects of this bottleneck in the education sector, specifically during the urgent transition to digital learning. In 2022, the Department of Education spent 2.4 billion pesos on laptops for teachers. As this audit shows, the units were both outdated and significantly overpriced. This is the mechanism of rent-seeking. Contractors secure massive payouts without providing real value. Because of extreme overpricing, purchasing power was cut in half, procuring only 50% of the laptops teachers needed. For the students in these classrooms, the math is simple. Missing laptops mean a lack of digital access, creating a gap in skills that becomes harder to close every year. Rent-seeking in Scholst is more than waste tax money. It excludes a generation of students from full participation in the digital economy. The healthcare sector faced an even more desperate situation during the pandemic, serving as a stress test for our emergency funding systems. Billions of pesos were moved through emergency channels, including 15 billion pesos in questionable PhilHealth disbursements and 12 billion lost to overpriced medical supplies. These failures are driven by the principal-agent problem. The public relies on officials to spend money wisely, but a massive information gap keeps them in the dark. Agents exploit this to secure kickbacks, siphoning money away before any service reaches the patient. While those billions were diverted, patients were forced into makeshift church wards, relying on limited oxygen supplies in the middle of a national crisis. Mismanaged health funds actively stall national recovery, leaving the most vulnerable families to face medical emergencies with no protection. When these failures happen repeatedly, public trust erodes and economic growth slows. Long-term progress is impossible if public funds are viewed as a source of private profit. Relying on the individual will of leaders has proven to be a fragile strategy. For reform to last, it must be embedded in the institutions themselves. The first step is radical transparency. Geotagged project dashboards allow the public to track every bridge and building in real time, matching budget releases to actual physical progress. Digital governance can further reduce the human factor. By using interoperable databases to verify contracts, the system can automatically flag price inflation or bid rigging before the money leaves the treasury. We can also change the incentives through performance-based budgeting, shifting the focus from how much is spent to what is actually delivered. Look at this contract structure. It ensures that the bulk of a payout is only released after an independent audit and a post-construction inspection verify the work is complete and defect-free. Corruption is a calculation of risk versus reward. By embedding transparency into these systems, we shift that equation, ensuring the cost of misconduct consistently outweighs any potential gain.